Hi, my name's Weldon in the YouTube world, and I just figured I'd take a moment to go over an X10 camera, a wireless camera, wireless by 2.4 gigahertz. I picked up about 4 or 5 of them like 4 years ago with the intention of, just kind of watching through the house, put one on the front door, put one out the back of the house by the doors and whatnot. And that was around the same time as when 2.4 gigahertz portable house phones were out. And what I noticed is that every time you turn the phone on and you were recording off of one of these units, the screen would go haywire. The audio would get corrupted and the screen would get all buzzy. So needless to say, I didn't use them very often, and eventually I didn't use them at all, considering the fact I'm still using a 2.4 gigahertz cordless phone. But anyway, I just want to take the time to show you guys that what I did with mine, or one of mine, to utilize these. A couple of my friends, they race quads. They have a track they go up to every other weekend during the summer and race their quads, and they went out and bought these high-end helmet cams, which are $280 just for the unit or whatever, whatnot, depending on where you get it from. If you want a better better unit and 480 lines of resolution, just standard television. So what I did is I took one of these apart and I did some research on it and figured out what was what, and I figured I'd share that with you guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to dismantle one of these, and I'm going to show you what wires do what and how you hook up a 9-volt battery to this and use it as a helmet cam. We can even go through, eventually I'll go through and show you how to make one of these. And this is basically this unit, the CCD and board, mounted inside this aluminum tube, which measures approximately 2 3/4 inches long and is about 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/8 in diameter, which this is technically smaller than what a helmet camera would be mounted in its secure casing. So, but we'll get to that later. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and take the bottom off the camera. So you're going to take it and flip it over, and you're going to take out the 3 screws that are at the bottom of the yellow wire. You have a white wire, you have a red wire, and a blue and a black wire. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but so you have white, yellow, red, blue, and black. Well, the blue and the black are ground. Okay, now that's ground for everything. That's going to be ground for your power supply. That's going to be ground for your audio and your video. The red wire is your power wire, and I use 9 volts and the unit works perfectly. So this will be your 9-volt line. Your yellow one is your video line, and your white wire is your audio line. So what you'll do is you will provide a 9-volt battery, take a 9-volt battery, the little rectangular ones, get a plug for that. The positive goes to the red wire, the negative goes to the black and blue wire. Now once you have that, you can take a RCA plug and literally take the positive of the RCA plug, which is the center prong, hook that up to the white wire, or the yellow wire, and then what's ground from the battery and going into the camera here, the black and the blue, that is the ground for your video wire. So you will take those two and connect those two to ground. So your ground of your video is also the ground of your power supply also. Now your mic wire, your audio wire, which is the white wire, is the exact same thing. So you're going to take the white wire, that's going to go to the positive of your microphone, and then the black and the blue wire are the negative of your microphone. So you're going to have 2 other wires going to ground other than just your power. So you have your positive red, negative blue and black, video wire is yellow, and audio wire is white. And once you have all those hooked up, you can bench test it with some little alligator clips, and you can take and move the camera around and adjust the focus and everything, and that'll get you up and running there. Now, one step further, what I did here is I have the internals of that exact same camera, this unit, inside of here. So what I did is, you take this apart, these two screws, you take these two screws out, right here and right here. You're going to pull this plastic clip off that's holding the wires into the unit, because technically this is a waterproof unit. You'll take those two screws out, the case splits apart, and you're going to reveal this. Once you have this out, you have your microphone, which is here, and then your lens with your focal on it, and then there's an O-ring down here which goes into the face of the case to seal the weather out. CCD is down there. There's also an O-ring down at the bottom of your color viewfinder, or color CCD. And what I did is, these capacitors were up, they were bent up this way, sticking out of the unit. So what I did is I bent them in and then put a little specks of hot glue inside of here to hold all these capacitors and everything inside the diameter of the little board that's in there. And then what I did is, you can take an inch and a 1/16 tube, which you could probably get at Farm and Fleet or any hardware store that sells stock of aluminum tubing, and you can take it and fish first thing what I would do is, using just a straight through tube, is I would put a block in there, and this block is about 1 3/4 back in the tubing. That way you can take the camera and slide it through like so, and the camera will slide down inside of there, and with that block in there, which I would probably use epoxy or a hot glue, and then the camera slides down the side of there. Now I don't have the lens on or anything, but then I took an O-ring, and the O-ring you want to take and you want to wrap around the lens, and what that'll do is that'll help seal off and hold that camera steady inside of there. I'm going to slide this back out, put this back on. Okay. And then slide that back in. And then what you want to do is you want to check to make sure where your top is going to be. So what I did is I put a little mark back here where the top of the camera is going to be, and the top of your camera is the opposite of your microphone. So your microphone is facing the bottom, just like on here. There's a little hole in the bottom of the camera here where your microphone is. So this is the top, microphone's the bottom. So same aspect. The microphone's on the bottom, and you want to line that up with wherever you want on the tubing that you made. And then you just slide that and hold that in place. Plus it acts as a little shock resistor too. I wouldn't suggest gluing this in case you ever have to service it. And then if you mount this flush, what you can do is take a cap, a piece of plexiglass or something, and hot glue it, or use some epoxy and epoxy that to the top of the tube here, because that way you can always remove it later if you had to readjust the focus or whatever or whatnot. And then the back of this, you have the wires sticking out. When you solder these to whatever you're going to use it on, and like I said, I'll make another video showing you how to make the converter box so you can hook it up to a video camera, just as I did. But you have your audio wire, your power, your video, and your two grounds. And then you'll heat shrink those together after you solder them with your stringer line, and then after that you'll shrink wrap the whole thing to keep it all sealed up so it's good for weather. And that's it for now. So I hope somebody gets some use out of this video, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Thanks a lot. Once again, this is Weldman, and I'll be back.